Miller screams no. His hand closes on the scrubber, and he swings it across Weir's head. Weir reels back, stunned. Miller gets to his feet. "You can't have them," Miller screams. He hits Weir again, hard. Blood gushes from Weir's skull, filling the runes on his face. Weir staggers. Miller attacks, again and again. This time Weir is ready. He catches the scrubber and tears it from Miller's grasp. Smashes Miller to the floor with a single blow. Miller groans. "I'm not the devil," says Weir. "I'm much, much older. I watched the beginning, and I will see the end. I am the dark behind the stars. I am the dark inside you all." Miller gets to all fours, trying to get up. "Not the devil?" Miller questions. Weir kicks Miller savagely. Miller slides through the coolant, comes to rest beneath a walkway. He attempts to rise, collapses back into the sludge. Weir slowly stalks towards him. "There is no devil. There is no God. There is only nothing. You're lying. I'm not asking you to believe me. You'll see for yourself. And so will your crew. You're all coming with me." Weir's grotesque face is inches from his. He reaches down and pulls Miller from the dripping ooze. "They are mine, and so are you." As Miller clears the surface, he holds something in his fist. Miller stares dead on into Weir's hellish face and raises his right hand. He's holding the detonator. With a grim smile of triumph, Miller tells Weir, "You can't have them." Weir screams a loud no as Miller depresses the detonator. A small, silent explosion blossoms in the aft section of the ship, followed frames later by a sequence of detonations that rip the main access corridor apart and propel the foredecks away from the containment section. The explosion knocks Stark and Cooper down. They hold on tightly as waves of distortion ripple over the event horizon's containment section. A dark sphere of energy spreads out from the containment as the gateway opens, a black hole. The black hole begins to shrink, imploding. As it collapses, it sucks Neptune's blue clouds with it, creating a titanic whirlpool. Stark's voice is tiny. "Miller?" This was an abridged excerpt from the shooting script of Event Horizon, released in 1997, written by Philip Eisner and directed by Paul W. S. Anderson. The script explained what happened in the end of the film, during the finale between Captain Miller and Dr. Weir, including additional dialogue not included in the theatrical release. The script very closely parallels the imagery we see in the film. A final conflict between Miller and Weir. Weir wants to go to the other dimension and take Miller's crew with him. Miller presses the detonator. The ship explodes, separating the two ends. Miller, Weir, and the grav drive disappear in the clouds of Neptune while inside a black hole. I'm going to go over a few subliminal messages that had me believe in the Hollywood ending, that Miller sacrificed his life, the event horizon was destroyed, and Weir, the villain, was defeated. But instead, the ending was much more mysterious. While I feel I was partially correct, I was totally wrong. The event horizon did disappear in the clouds of Neptune, granted inside a black hole fabricated by the grav drive, sending the ship to the underworld, taking the bodies of Miller and Weir with it. The first subliminal message is the use of slow motion when Miller presses the button on the detonator. This unorthodox method of editing emphasizes the importance of the moment, in this case, highlight Miller's sacrifice. The very next cut is a frame showing a sequence of explosions approaching us, the audience, followed by more explosions, more fireballs that engulf everything we see. I think this is where I subconsciously believed Miller sacrificed himself in a ball of fire. Also, we do not see Miller nor Weir after the explosion. Both literally left the story. We get a cut showing the aft is still in one piece after separating from the fore of the ship. At least we see a shell from the outside, but it explodes again or pops open a new dimension before disappearing into Neptune's clouds. In other words, my brain saw the ship explode twice. We're left with 3 questions. Did Miller survive the explosion? Likely yes, but I turned to the script when it read, "A small, silent explosion blossoms in the aft section of the ship," followed frames later by a sequence of detonations that rip the main access corridor apart. This description alone would have convinced me that Miller was blown up before explosions hit the main access corridor, but earlier in the script, Miller and Cooper explained. Miller: "We blow the corridor, use the foredecks as a lifeboat, separated from the rest of the ship. We stay put." Cooper: "And the gravity drive goes where no man has gone before." This made better sense, that Miller set off the explosion to save his crew, but sacrificed not just his life, but perhaps his soul. The next question is, did the gravity drive survive the explosion and engage? Obviously yes, but did you notice not 1, but 2 foreshadowing clues? One is what we just discussed when Cooper predicted the gravity drive will go where no man has gone before. The second clue came early in the film, when the event horizon made its first appearance, returning to the solar system after a 7-year disappearance. Those swirling clouds in the background, they weren't from a planetary storm. That's the black hole collapsing the first time as the ship emerges from within it. The final question is the most perplexing. Was Weir defeated because he didn't get what he wanted? Emotionally, the answer we want to feel is yes. We're all manipulated to believe Miller's sacrifice was noble. Weir's evil plans were upended. But did he really not get what he wanted? This is one of the film's shortcomings, the moving goalposts of Weir's motivation. We're told late, in a monologue that's more editorial than his master plan, that the rest of Miller's surviving crew, Stark, Cooper, and Justin, would come with him. So what if Weir didn't get Miller's first officer, a wisecracking engineer, and an invalid? Was it worthy being so melodramatic about it? Whereas before, I would have thought he wanted to be with his wife, or even simpler, go to the other dimension. You could also think he just wanted to save his ship. Having it split in 2 would be sort of heartbreaking. But if that was his motivation, why bother engaging the drive? We're told earlier you don't need the fore-half of the ship for the drive to work. The wife promised they would be together forever. He was already home. His grav drive works. Miller's coming with him. Before we get to the bonus trivia, like, share, or subscribe if you enjoy this content and want to see more videos like this one. One particular difference between film and script is how Weir is depicted once he returned from being expelled into space and reappears in his new, more scars, less hair form. The script makes references that Weir's likeness is in fact a supernatural, immortal being, older than the universe itself, from a universe of nothing. The theatrical release keeps it much less philosophical, explaining the ship won't let Weir leave or die, implying his resurrection gave him his new appearance, superhuman strength, and much hubris. Let me know in the comments below, did Weir really not get what he wanted? This is Mr. G of Synergy saying Weir would have gotten away with it if he had just not bothered telling the truth. Check out other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.